Hello everyone, I'm going to show you how this yarn tensioner that I made, that I attached to the bottom of the Addi so that I don't have to keep holding the yarn to give it tension. I have 5 different holes there, 5 different tension settings, and here I'm testing 2 yarns, both made by Red Heart Comfort. They're both number 4 worsted weight, but they behave differently on the different settings on here. And this tensioner helps to make consistent stitches, and it frees my hand as well. So I'm going to demonstrate here. I'd like to show you how tension affects how stitches are made and whether stitches get dropped or not. So the Addi does not come with a tension guide, so I made one out of acrylic. So I'm just gonna put this on here, and this is Gorilla duct tape. So I'm just gonna Okay, so I'm going to do this on the largest hole at the front, which is the loosest tension. And I like using these Folgers cans because I just like how they hold the yarn. And we have pets in the house, we have dogs, so it just keeps from the dog hair getting into the yarn as well. Now I'm just going to do a panel instead of going all the way around and around. So I did every other stitch, and now I'm just heading back. I'm just going back, and I set the counter already. Usually when I begin, I usually hold the loose end here. Now I'm going to head back. Usually when I'm knitting, I've noticed that after the 6th row, if it's going to drop stitches, usually happens after the 6th row. I've noticed that. So I pay attention to that. I'm on the 3rd row so far, no drop stitches. Oh, and I realized the ball of yarn at the bottom, because I wound it into a cake, it does create tension, so I'll pull yarn out so that the yarn going in is loose, going into the tension. Okay, 4th row. Usually the ends, I usually have to help the ends. It seems to be how it is with the panels. That was 5th row. Now coming up, it's the 6th row. Usually this is where the drop stitches occur. So right there, already 1 stitch is dropped. There, 1 stitch is dropped there already on the 6th row. So I know already that this tension is too loose. So I'm going to start again. I'm going to work my way down until I find where I can easily knit this yarn on which of these tension settings. Okay, so this doesn't work, so I'm going to undo this because I'm dropping stitches there, so I know it's not going to work, so no sense me carrying on. I'm going to just undo this. Second tension, number them, there'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I'm going to set my, there, back to 0. Okay, I'm going to head back now. I'm going to just hold on to this last one here. I'm going to hang on to this so that it just to give it a little tension so it doesn't drop. And usually the end one I have to help. I'm going to push it down. Okay, head back, row 3. Row 4 coming up. Okay, so this one here, it dropped, but that one doesn't really count. I'm just going to fix that because it's on the end. Usually the ends do that no matter. Sometimes you still have to help it, whether you have good tension. If it's set on the tension you like, the end ones always need a little help. Okay, so I'll continue with that one. There we go. So here I'm going to watch the end one, make sure it goes down all the way up. Okay, now I'm on row 5 coming up. I'll help the end as well. There. Now I'm on the next one. That one dropped. So that one happened on row 4. So on row 4, that happened and that happened. Okay, so I don't like this already, so I'm just going to take it apart and try the next setting. So now I'm going to go 1, 2, and now 3 on this side. So I'm on tension number 3. Set this back to 0. Get back, row number 2. I'm going to watch the end needle, the end yarn, just to make sure it goes all the way down. Coming back, I'm going to watch the first one, help it. Row 3, and again help the end one. Row 3 is done. Now row 4. Push this down. Row 5 coming up. Row 6. There. So now that slipped again right there. I was gonna help it go down, but if I have to do that with every stitch, it's not very fun for me. So tension number 3 does not work for this yarn. Okay, now tension number 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4 is right here. Reset this. Oh, sorry, I went over. There we go. Okay. I'm gonna hang on to this one so it doesn't pull out. Okay, now I'm starting row 2. Just watch the end one again there. Row 3. Row 4. Row 5. Row 6. So if they're going to skip, they start at row 6 or 7, anywhere between 6 and 10 if they're going to skip. Row 6, row 7 coming up. Oh, that one skipped and that one did too, but I'm gonna try one more time to see if any more skipping happens. Usually I like helping the end needles and push down the yarn, but if I have to do that with more than the ends, then I don't like using that tension. Okay, so far so good. Push that down. Row 9 coming up. There. I dropped a stitch there. Here's the beginning of row 9. Even though it says 8, I haven't passed the dark needles here yet, but it's actually row 9, and it dropped a stitch there. So if I keep going, I'll probably continue to drop stitches. It dropped the end stitch, but I didn't help that one. I should have. Okay, so I don't like that it dropped stitches, so I'm going to undo this. Okay, the last tension guide there. Reset this. Okay. Gonna hang on to the last one here. Hang on to it again, starting row 2. Watch the last stitch there. Usually help it. Come back, beginning stitch. Row 10. Row 11 coming up. 12. Row 13. So this one works. So if I want to knit with this yarn, I would set it at tension number 5. So I'm on stitch 13 and no drop stitches so far. I'm going to test this yarn, Red Heart Comfort. I got this from Walmart at the store. 1,000 grams, 35 ounces, and this is number 4, medium number 4. So I put it on, I just put stoppers here. I have 15 needles in working order here. I'm gonna head back. This is on the number 1, the loosest tension. I'm gonna head back. Now, from now on, in between now and row 10, if it skips, except for the end ones, if it starts slipping, oh, there's 1 stitch lost there, so I know this is not going to work. This tension is not going to work for this yarn, so I'm not going to continue. I'm going to try the next tension, tension number 2. So I'm testing tension number 2 again, and I want to help the end needles so that it stitches nicely. When you're making the panels, I like doing that. So this is the first row. I'm going to hold this down, beginning one, but it's too loose the way it is. I'm going to go back. Oh, sorry about that. Go back. This is row 2 now. I'm going to help this one. Row 5 coming up. Row 12. So I should mention, just in the last row on row 11, I helped the second stitch in from the left as well. I noticed that on this Addi, when I'm knitting panels, coming back from the left on this side, I will sometimes help these 2 needles, make sure that the part that's supposed to go over the post, I help it. The one on this side usually is just the end needles. So, and I just did this here, but so far everything else in between looks good for tension number 2 for this particular yarn. So I'm going to help this one. That one went down okay that time. Nice. So for this yarn, tension number 2 works. If number 2 works, that means 3, 4, and 5 will work as well. So this is a good test. Now this one works really well. So it depends on how loose you want your work or how tight you want it. If you want it tighter, of course, I can just take this out, move it over. See how well that works. So that's from row 15 now. I switched the tension from row 15. Okay, that worked. Now I'm going to go to tension number 4. I went from here to the right. So I'm going to go 10 rows of this. $35 coming up. There. Now I'm going to switch to the tightest tension here. I'll do 10 rows of that. And carefully watching, making sure that the part that comes out is overlapping these 2 posts. When it doesn't, that means it's dropping the stitch. You'll notice that I'm not helping the end ones. I know that when I'm using the tightest tension, most times it will catch the end ones without me helping it. $45 coming up. Excellent. So that was 45. So that was 10 rows at the tightest tension. I'm just going to take it off. I'm going to show you what it looks like. Just going to pull it. So this is the loosest tension here, and then the tension increases as we go up. How nicely it knitted all four tension stations. It did not work on the first one. So that's a good way to practice this. Some yarn only works on the very last one. Some will work only on the second one, but some will work on at least 3 of them, 3 of these tension settings. Yeah, this looks really good. Thank you for joining me. If you found this video helpful at all in any way, please like and subscribe. Thank you.